away they go. So the fastest in the heat. Brodie in 4, Smith in 5. Duncan Scott has been very strong all the way through this weekend, so who knows what he's going to do. Not an event he's done very much in the last year, but certainly seen him in other years performing with distinction in this event. And he has 2nd place at the moment behind Cameron Brodie, because Cameron, butterfly, his strongest suit. So you'd expect him to be moving this one out fast here.
Absolutely, Duncan. But again, it's about scale of effort. So he'll want to make sure he has got a lead, use the underwaters as well as he can. But he'll not want to put all his eggs in the basket at this stage, because he knows as the race develops, all of the other swimmers have different strengths.
It's only a fairly respectable first 100 split, 54.74. That is a lot faster, some 2 seconds faster than he was in this morning's heats. See him there as he turns after the first length of backstroke. Still Scott in 2nd and Smith in 3rd. I think it's rapidly developing into these 3, although Walton in 2 and then Hendricks in 6. Maybe still in touch to feature later on in the challenge for medals, as Brodie looking to consolidate his position, his lead now around about 2 and a bit seconds, and Lewis Smith now pretty close to Duncan Scott, and the 2 vying for 4th, Walton and Hendricks, turning fairly close together, but still it is Brodie. Will breaststroke be a bit of a weakness for Cameron Brodie, or can he hold them off in the breaststroke?
I think he'll be he'll want to stay ahead on the breaststroke. It's not his strongest stroke, but he showed yesterday in the Tuner IM it was pretty effective. The thing on the 400 though, unless you're super efficient, those that are will eventually hunt you down.
So let's see what happens here. This perhaps is the critical stage of this race. If Brodie can hold a decent advantage here, he's going to be hard to catch in the freestyle, but well, Lewis Smith is leading the comeback kids, and there is Brodie halfway through the breaststroke now. We'll just check the gap, 2:32.82, so the gap is down to about 2.5 seconds, slightly under. Smith has about 1.5 meters on Hendricks 3rd and Scott in 4th.
It's a great move from Lewis just coming up now, but I guess really it might come down to how close Duncan Scott is to both Lewis and Cameron, and whether or not he can utilise the strong freestyle that we know he's got.
And Hendricks might be a contender in that, because he's had a strong distance freestyle performances this weekend, so he could come back hard in this last 100. So with 100 to go, we're down to less than a second now between Brodie and Smith, 3:09.42 and 3:10.08. And Lewis Smith certainly at the moment is the one who's putting in the challenge. The other 2, Hendricks and Scott, have a lot of ground to make up, around about 4 or 5 meters here. You can see the 4 of them in the shot. Walton a bit further back, but it's Brodie and Smith, the 2 training partners from Stirling, absolutely together with 50 to go. There's only a 10th in it here, so we asked for a close finish in this one, and that's exactly what we're getting here, as maybe for the first time looks like Lewis Smith hits the front. Here comes Duncan Scott though, he's not out of this yet, as they turn for home, and it is Lewis Smith who's got the advantage. Cameron Brodie being attacked hard by Duncan Scott, but no one is going to catch Lewis Smith. The wily experienced swimmer takes the honours there, 4:07.64. Duncan Scott storming through at the end, takes the silver, 4:08.04. Cameron Brodie led for, well, suddenly all but the last length, but he settles for the bronze medal. Not sure settles happily for it, but that's what he's going to get, 4:09.26. And that race certainly did not disappoint, Ali.
Absolutely fantastic race, and just shows you the experience that Lewis Smith has. Played his cards absolutely bang on, knew when he had to make his move, pulled it back on the breaststroke and just had enough to hold off Duncan at the end. And of course Duncan may well be feeling it, he just left it that little bit too late.